Welcome everybody to another episode of the Mind Right Game Tight Show. My name is Michelle Morgan. I'm a transformational sports coach, which means I work with student athletes on the mindset skill to reach your full potential in sports as well as in life. I also am the author of a book, How You Triumph in Sports, Tools That Create a Triumphant Life, that you can also check out on my website at vidasoro.com as well as on Amazon as well. Today, our guest is Celina Gougis. She is from Northridge, California. She attended Alemany High School, went on to play basketball on an athletic scholarship at Westmont College, graduating with a BA in Business and Economics. Led her to pursue a basketball career in Europe, but her path wasn't of the norm. Not being picked up by any teams, she thought of an innovative way to reach her goals. She thought, why not figure out a way to further her education and continue playing? So Celina researched master's programs in different UK universities that also gave out athletic scholarships to American players. It only took a few days of emailing that she had interest from a university called Durham in England. She applied to the marketing program, bought her ticket, and played another year of basketball while exploring another country. As of 2018, she is working on her dissertation in marketing from Durham and making plans to play pro next season, coaching youth basketball, and right now she's enjoying her time back home. So thank you for Celina for being on the show. Great to have you on.
No problem. Thanks for asking. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. And you know, when I first met you, you told me the story that you received a scholarship to play while you were earning your master's. So for me, that was something that was unheard of. Like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, share this information, because I'm sure there's people out there who would really want to know this. And so Definitely. How did you even come up with this idea to say, I want to research ideas to get a scholarship while getting my master's? Like, did you know somebody who was doing this, or like, how did this idea come to you?
So coming from a smaller school, Westmont, the big issue for me getting overseas was having that limited exposure. You know, you're not going to a big D1 school, you know, you don't have that big name, the hype or anything. So you kind of have to promote yourself, kind of market your own self to these teams over there. So in that process, I went to a few combines, which is essentially like tryouts to go overseas for teams. And I happened to go to one. I didn't tell you this maybe, but I went to a combine actually in Germany. And while I was there, a girl was letting me know what she had done the year before. And this was one of the things that she did. And she kind of left me with that conversation. And then I was like, let me, you know, if I don't get picked up or nothing comes from this, let me just look into this and see, you know, what the pricing might be, what, you know, what papers I need to get done, all this stuff. So, you know, I just went online. I typed in a couple schools, the name of the school she had went to, which was in London. And from there, I emailed her a few different times, but then eventually I just emailed different schools saying, this is, you know, what I want to do. So what I have to offer. What do you guys offer, you know, players that want to come? And a lot of them have programs, and a lot of them have a lot of Americans who are looking to further education and play as well. So it's kind of like this hidden gem for people, like, you know, for athletes that might want to go play a little bit longer, but aren't maybe getting that exposure, or don't just want to go and play. You know, they want to come back to the States with a degree. This is an option.
Wow. I think that's amazing. And so do you only get 1 year of playing, or how does that work on the scholarship program? Because you were getting your master's. So like when we think of masters, usually we think of like a 2-year program. So did you only get 1 year, or how does that work?
So it depends on what you want to go to school for. Mine just so happens to was a 1 year. I had teammates who are doing their PhDs who are also from the US, who are on their third, you know, their second or their fourth year. And you can get scholarship money for each of those years. You just have to kind of talk to the directors and see what the amount would be each year consecutively. But you can go for as many years as you want, but you get to play, unless you want to pay out of pocket. But you can go and play however many years and continue to get whatever degree you want. But each degree has a different. So usually they allow, I guess each year depends on how many Americans they're willing to allow on the university team. But a lot of the girls that I was with, my team happened to be all American players my year I went. So there was only 8 of us. And my program is a 1 year's master's. So I was done essentially, but I'm still working on that paper, but a thesis paper, but classes, all that, I was done within a year. But I had other teammates. One is doing her PhD. She's from the US as well. And she's going on her 3rd year this year with the PhD program for, I want to to say it's sports psychology. Yeah, so it depends on what you want to study. Some take a little bit longer, but mine just so happened. And I think a lot of them you can get them in a year.
That's awesome. I'm like blown away. And then like from that experience of being in another country, like what did you learn like while you were there? Maybe not just basketball, but life skills, or like what was that process like for you to like, you know, jump in and like move across, across the Atlantic Ocean basically?
Yeah, right. I would say first off is kind of adapting quickly to situations that you're not comfortable in, maybe. I've always wanted to go to a different country, live in a different country and play. So my mindset has always been one of like eagerness to get somewhere else and, you know, experience all that. But quickly when you get there, you kind of have to learn, I want to say almost like you kind of have to learn people skills, because you're there in a new country, and these, you know, you're introduced to this team of girls that you have no idea, you've never met them before. So you kind of have to those are like your family when you're out there, right? You see them every single day. You're going to practice, class, all this stuff. So one thing was just, you know, getting to know people on a deeper level, kind of quickly, you know. Another one was money management in a different country, you know, with the exchange rate, and you don't necessarily have a job out there. So you kind of have to figure out, you know, how you're going to use your money wisely that you do have and that you do get. And as well, just being able to be open to new experiences. You know, you're not, unless you move to a different country, you know, this is like a once in a lifetime type of thing, and taking advantage of that, trying new things, meeting new people, just being open and comfortable and vulnerable, I guess.
Yeah. Did you ever want to get a job while you were out there?
When I was out there, I was kind of like, I wonder if I just want to look for a job and finish up my paper out here and then just stay out here. But, you know, some things happened. I wanted to come home and see my family, and I wasn't 100% sure. So I was like, let me just go home to somewhere, you know, that I'm familiar with, and kind of figure out my next, you know, big step in my life type of thing. But now so, you know, like I would say it's been like 6 months since that. And I guess my new goal is to go and live, work, and play in a different country.
Nice.
So I would want, that's what I want to do.
Do you have a specific country in mind, or you're open to the possibilities? Or,
you know, I am open to the possibilities, but I also know that, you know, what the state of Europe in those countries is right now, you know, it's not super safe every single place, and I don't want to ignore that. So, but I don't want to cut off any place just because of that, because not everywhere, you know, in those countries is dangerous, but, you know, you gotta be smart about it. So right now I'm talking to a team in Belgium, and so we'll see where that takes me, you know, in a few months.
So what's your preparation look like as you prepare to, you know, go overseas? Because you're still talking to a team in Belgium, but they actually have to like pick you up, I'm assuming. So like, how is that process working for you right now as you prepare to continue to, you know, follow your goals?
Right now, it's like, it feels like it's stagnant, but it's because the seasons over there are coming to an end. So, you know, I don't talk to the coaches all the time. It's kind of hit or miss while they're in season, but the process is staying in touch with them. They let me know where their heads are at. I kind of tell them what's going on with me, and just kind of keep that open communication between, you know, what are you guys looking for next year? You know, what jobs and positions are available? And then on my end over here, you know, I'm just staying on top of, you know, training, being in shape, playing, still making those connections overseas, while still trying to finish up the paper and make sure I have all my schooling handled and everything as well.
And then how are you building those connections? Because I know you're in contact with Belgium. So did you make that connection? Because I'm already seeing like you're a go-getter, like you're going to go out and make it happen. So, you know, so like, how is that working? Are people coming to you, or you're just like, I'm out there, I'm connecting, like I know what I want to do?
It's a mixture of people knowing from a long time. Like, you know, in college, I would talk about this with a lot of my teammates. So, you know, when I graduated in 2015, you know, I had a few of my teammates reach out to me and say, hey, I know this is something you've been wanting to do. I have a friend of mine who knows an agent, or has a contact, or someone who knows a coach of a team out there. So there were a few people who were coming to me, and I was taking whatever leads I could, honestly, just reaching out, and then making sure I kind of had an open communication with these people in that overseas kind of world. But then the kind of like, go-getter in me, where I was like, I'm not going to wait for someone else to figure this out for me, because it's what I want to do. I myself went on to different forums of kind of overseas. So like Euro basketball sites have a lot of the team emails on it. And I was just sending out emails, video, following their Facebook pages, Instagrams, kind of a lot of these teams have all that social media and all these forums. So, I would pick a list of like 30 teams and kind of like just try and reach out to them. Yeah. So a lot of it was just tedious effort, sitting at the computer, just emailing, not getting emails back, or, we already have people for season, try again another year, all that kind of stuff. So it was a mixture of things for sure.
And then when do you need to know by in order to, when does season start again overseas pretty much?
September. I would say October is like preseason and September is like the start of that season. They're coming to an end in Europe and then they'll start up again like August, September. And then, that's like practicing, getting the teams together, figuring out who they need, recruiting, and then they start.
But your focus is like your training and then also getting your paper done, right?
Yeah. Yep. Right now, those are like my two main things. Yeah.
And how have you handled it? Like you said, things have felt like a little stagnant. So what in terms makes you feel stagnant? And then how do you overcome that as well and continue to move forward, even when you feel like things are at a standstill?
Yeah. I think the stagnant part is just coming from playing in college. And then after that, trying to go overseas. And then after that, going to school in Durham. So I was always doing something from from college to now. And so the stagnant part for me is almost feeling like, what am I doing right now? What am I preparing for? I guess. But I've had to learn to kind of love the process of getting to something instead of it just being like now, type of thing. So, I mean, right now I'm just trying to focus on the paper and get that done as my biggest thing. But the stagnant part is just, not hearing back from people or hearing back from the coaches or the teams. And so there'll be days or maybe a week or two will go by where I feel like there's no progression of anything. And so that's been the most difficult part, I guess, so far with the stagnant.
Yeah, I can totally relate where it's like you want it. I want something now. And it's like, it's not happening. And so how do you keep your mind moving forward if I don't hear an email back for a day or two or a week or two, and it's like, I want to know, I want to have something I'm working so hard. So how do you keep your mind focused and not giving up basically? What continues to motivate you?
Well, that's kind of a hard question. Because I just kind of I don't know, I guess each day I just figure out what I want to accomplish in that day. So I'm breaking things down to the small things. So I kind of find celebration and little things each day that are, I know or that are over time going to get me to that goal or that accomplishment, and trying not to take those for granted. So they could be, today, going to have brunch or go lunch or go dinner tonight with someone or a friend, talking about, things that we've been doing, or going to work out with a friend, working out with Kim, just kind of celebrating small victories each day that I'm okay, even if it's not for basketball, it's related, all this type of stuff's going to help me, outside of basketball or for the career that I choose, once I finally settle down and figure out, what I want to do. So I'm not trying to think of just one big picture, okay, going overseas playing, getting a job. It's more okay, day to day, how is this helping me just become a better person? Trying to not just think of it in basketball terms or in career terms, but just as a person and a human each day. How is this helping me?
I love that.
Instead of just getting to that one goal. So that's kind of overwhelming. But if you break it down and say, okay, how is this helping me just each day, making me feel, become a better person, to my parents or to my friends, then I feel that's how it helps me.
Yeah, I agree. It's those mini victories. And like you mentioned too, it's the journey. Sometimes I focus on the destination. I want it so bad. And there's something that's happening in the process. Like you said, spending time with friends and family. And what do you think is the biggest thing that you've been learning through this process that's making you a better person as you go forward?
Honestly, it's probably those little victories. Before, I sometimes would go days and I was like, what did I do? What was I doing this week? I don't even remember. because I wasn't paying attention. I just was like, okay, what am I doing, next week? Or how's this helping for this thing I'm trying to do, from a year from now or a month from now? I was missing like little things, I feel like, or connections within my life. So it's kind of helped me almost slow down and value the little things and value the friendships and value like my family more so than I did before, the importance of those relationships outside of basketball and career type of atmospheres.
Yeah. And is there a specific mini victory that you can think of or remember that had like a really big impact on you? Like, wow, like I actually was in that moment, I was present, and it's had like a huge impact on me, rather than, always like we have our vision, it's ahead, but because you were in that moment, like that small victory, had a huge impact or feeling on you.
Yeah. I don't know if it's weird. I mean, I don't think it's not weird, but for me, it makes sense. Okay. So, one of the closest people in my life is my grandma, and she's getting up there in age, and, her health is like kind of shaky. And when I was overseas, in English this past year, my dad would call me, every few weeks and say, she's doing okay, but, she's always asking when you're coming home, and because she doesn't remember that I'm over there. And so when I got back, my mind was already like, okay, I'm back home, but I need to get back out there. I need to go play. I need to go back to Europe right now. And we happened to go to go see her. She lives with my aunt, and we just went to go hang out with them for a few hours down in LA. And I just remember sitting there, and she was like, where you been? And I was like, I've been in England and stuff. She's like, well, I haven't seen you forever. She's like, I was like, yeah, I was there, right? Knowing she didn't know, I kind of was just, having this conversation with her. And she was like, well, I want to see you more. And I want to hear about your experiences, because I can tell it makes you happy. But knowing that she didn't really know what experiences I had in Europe, like that all she wanted me to was be happy, and not necessarily knowing where that happiness came from, made me rethink about what I find happiness in those sports, or in that in the career that I choose. It's how, that moment for me was slow down type of thing before you miss out on things. If I wasn't home, I wouldn't have had that conversation with her or got to see her. So that was probably the most recent, when I got back, type of incident, kind of thing I had with her. Yeah. So.
Well, that's powerful, because we think sometimes that people just know what we're doing, and it's like, whoa, slow down. That's what's so great when you have those conversations with your grandma, or you say you go to lunch or dinner with people, and it's catching up and really connecting with somebody as to their life, and not just catching it on the fly on social media, because those pictures have way deeper meanings than whatever it is that we're posting and things like that. So I think that's powerful. And are you working with kids right now, or are you going to be coaching, or?
I train, I think she's in 6th grade. I train a little girl right now, but then I also coach at her AAU team. So I coach the 5th and 6th graders. But I train her on the side. So I'm currently coaching, and that was something I've always put off. I don't know why. I just was like, I don't know if I want to coach. And it's always been this thing. People are like, you should do it. But I was like, no, I'm good. But finally something finally was like, just do it. And so I did it. And I enjoy it, actually. Because sometimes I feel like I don't want to, like, maybe I don't have the patience to do it, and I don't want to be that person in their career or their basketball memories where they're like, oh, they messed it up for me. Like, I don't want to be that person. So I kind of always shied away from it, but it's oddly natural when I'm there. Yeah. So I'm enjoying it right now.
Awesome. And then what has been something that you've learned from the team that you've been coaching, or even that little girl, that you can take with you, like, as you continue on your journey?
Something that, I mean, even now, that I wish back then more coaches would have told me is to, just to have fun with basketball, to enjoy it for what it is, but not make it more than what it isn't, type of mindset. because it can take, because it can take over a lot of your life, and and there's nothing wrong with trying to be good at a sport, and be passionate about it, but knowing when it's become an obsession more than something to help you further you as a person down the line. So I would say something that I've learned is when I'm training them to keep it fun and let them know I'm just trying to help you guys learn what hard work is, or to evaluate, are you guys enjoying this? Do you like these drills? Do like when we're doing them, are you getting down on yourself? Why are you getting down on yourself? To ask that why question throughout the training or after practice or something like that.
Taking it deeper than what's just on the surface, because I think back as an athlete, even if I didn't like something, it had nothing to do with basketball. Usually something that was going on with inside of me, or like in my personal life. It had nothing to do with that suicide or whatever. It had something to do with something else. So I think that's great, because we want to be listened to. We want to be heard, and we're more than a basketball player, when you see me. We are people, and we have other things that we like to do, and goals and visions and all those things. So I think that's great that you're, that you felt that impact. And obviously you're going to continue to take that with you along the way as you continue coaching. Who knows, you might be coaching kids in the country you go to.
I'd be down.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. But I want to thank you for coming on, Celina. I learned so much from you. And like I said, the moment you told me that story, I was inspired. And I was like, that is so cool and awesome. Like, I feel like information should be shared. And so I appreciate you for coming on and sharing that, and then sharing your experiences and all the things that you've learned along the way as well. I feel like it's so impactful. And as someone who's played with you on the basketball team, I wanted to tell anybody who listens to this, who needs a great person and basketball player, hard worker, goes after it, has heart. We know how valuable that is, in being an athlete on a team, any sport. So, you're a go-getter. You got the shot. You got the dribbles. You're strong. Girl, you're good. So, yeah, she's here. She's here. And hello. And so what's the best way for us to continue, following you on your journey as you continue to, reach your goals, and as well as impact yourself and others?
The best way to follow, I'm horrible at the whole social media thing, but I mean, the only best thing is probably Instagram. But person where I don't know, like I just, the people, that are in my daily life, they, I just talk to them mainly, but I feel like, maybe I could be better about sharing that experience.
Well, what if I'm a coach? What if I'm a coach and I'm watching this and I just want to go like, how do I find this girl? How do I find Celina? Or maybe someone's watching this and oh no.
I was going to say, this is going to sound super pretentious, but like Google my name.
What if I'm a little girl? But what if I heard your story and I want to learn more about, like, how did you get your master's and play overseas? Because I'm also from a small school. I'm not from one of these big schools that gets a lot of recognition and things like that. And, it's, I want to reach out and like, just, pick your brain a little bit.
I would say Instagram then. I mean,
okay. So we'll put your Instagram up on the description in the video, and then it'll be obviously citing across this video. So everybody, if you have any questions, Celina's an inspiration. So please contact her if you have any questions. I'm sure she's more than happy to, reach out as well and give the feedback. And so right before you leave, one question, you just have to finish this sentence.
Okay. Go ahead. Yes, ready.
Okay. I am grateful for
today.
Got it. We know why. I listened to the interview. I know why it's today, and that's a great reason to be grateful for. Yeah. So once again, thank you, Celina, for being on the Mind Right Game Type Show. We appreciate you. Best of luck in all you do. I know you're going to be great in whatever it is that you do with this go-getter mentality. Even if the wave's not paved, you're going to go find the wave. You're going to go move things around, and you're going to go sift through it. And you're going to go Google it and figure it out. So you're on it. So thank you very much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you so much, Michelle. And honestly, this is great. I'm hoping I get some more of these little interviews you do. I'm going to check it out a lot more. Definitely.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining in. Treasure yourself and shine.